Hello and happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Diana Kennedy, your host for today's iHomeschool Network iHomeschool Hangouts. Everybody, well, most people are done with their homeschool for the year, not me. But we're going to take a little bit of a lighter approach this summer. So we're shifting our focus away from the classroom and into fitness and wellness, both for you as a homeschool mom and for your entire family. So we're going to be talking about some great topics like health and wellness, fitness topics, how to eat healthy on a budget. There's some great ideas that we've got coming up for you over the summer. I'm thrilled to have my friends and panelists here with me today. We'll go through and introduce everybody, and then we will get started with sharing what works for us from a homeschool fitness method. All right, I'm going to start it off with Christy. Christy, tell everybody how to find you, kind of where you are, and why getting fit is important to you.
Well, I'm Christy Hossel. I have 5 kids, and you can find me at onefunmom.com. I'm also at christyhossel.com. I, again, have 5 kids, so it's really important to me to stay sane. And in order to stay sane, I find I have to work out, or I try to eat healthy, but it's easier for me to work out than eat healthy. So a lot of the time I'm running, and my husband works a lot, so I try to find ways to run with my kids. And I have a lot of articles on that, how I did a half marathon last year training with most of the time with all my kids. So, hi, I'm excited to be here.
Thrilled to have you here with us today. All right, Marlene Griffith makes it run smooth from the back end over here with us on these Hangouts. Marlene?
Hey guys, excited to be here for the kickoff to our summer wellness series. I blog at diligent.heart.com, and you can find me over there or here on Google+. I'm excited to be here. If you have any questions, just drop them in the event room and I'll pull them in for these ladies to tackle.
Wonderful. Selena Robinson joining us today. Selena, tell us about yourself and where everybody can find you.
Hi, I'm Selena Robinson, and I blog at lookwe'relearning.com, and basically I share our eclectic homeschooling experiences. We mostly like to focus on Black history, foreign language, unit studies, and parenting topics. So you can find me there or on Pinterest at Look We Learn, or on Google Plus on our Look We're Learning page.
Awesome. Great to have you here with us today. Our friend Tisha is stepped away from the computer for a moment. We'll introduce her here in just a second. I'm Diana Kennedy, and you can find me when I'm not representing the iHomeschool Network. You can find me at thekennedyadventures.com, where I chart. I'm a nurse by trade, so I'm falling into my work schedule. We talk about life with a big family, our homeschooling misadventures, and I do a little bit of fitness blogging as well. Tisha, give us a heads up about where we can find you.
Yes, sorry about that. You can find me over at Adventures in Mommydom, and I blog about hands-on homeschooling, a lot of science and history, and I have a kid who's trying to take an online class right now that he is doing his best to destroy the other computer, so it's got me a little worried, and so that's where you can find me, I think. Yes. Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, let's get this tackled. We came to this conclusion, Marlene and I, actually, with some brainstorming earlier in the year, that we wanted to do a health and fitness series because as homeschool moms, we are the heart of our home, and if we're not healthy and taking care of ourselves, there's nobody that's going to step in and do it for us. And so we thought, well, you know what? That's a great topic to tackle over the summer. So we got together, brainstormed some topics with Jimmy, and came up with these great ideas that we're going to share with you guys. So today's topic is finding fitness methods that work for you. Inevitably, if you've talked to your girlfriends, they do different things as far as fitness is concerned. You may have heard about some fitness routines, some of the more popular ones that you'll see all over the internet or on Instagram or Pinterest, and think to yourself, okay, would that work for me? I don't know. You may have tried some things that have totally flopped. So we're going to talk about kind of how you find something that works for you. It's unique and individual. I'm a runner like Christy, but I know people abhor it. some people. So, that may not work for everybody. So let's talk about how you find a fitness routine that works for you. I'm going to pick on Selena, I think, to start this off. Just kind of talk about kind of where you got, how you got here, like what kind of things that you try. Tell me, kind of make go through the process.
Oh, wow. I'm going to condense this as quickly as I can then, because I was very overweight as a child, and I was not physically active as a child either. I remember doing the PE physical fitness presidential test in school and being, I think, last. So I was not fond of physical fitness at all. It wasn't until I got older that I got into it, and one thing I really love to do is dance. So any kind of fitness method that involves dance. I love Zumba. I love African dance. I love belly dance, Latin dance. Pretty much any kind of dance, I will do that. And over the trial and error, that's what I ended up finding out worked for me. I have run, and I stuck with it for almost a year, did a half marathon and everything. I got involved with Black Girls Run, a free running group specifically for African American women to encourage them to run. And I loved it. It was very supportive and encouraging. But since I had the baby, I have not been back. So that's something that I have to get back into doing. But the biggest thing for me is any kind of dance. I love that in any format.
I'll be coming back to this later because I do want to talk, if you're comfortable with that, sharing about kind of how you went from someone who did not like to be physically active to involving it in your life. Because I love that story.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of us. I mean, I look at my children; they're all little skinny minis, and they run around, and they're crazy physically active. But I think that they had a lot of that from my husband inherently. I mean, I have to kind of, I'm more like you. I think I have to work at it a little harder to kind of make it something that's pleasant for me and not a chore. Tisha, I'm gonna pick on you now. What about you? How do you find time and find things that work for you that you enjoy fitness wise?
That really seems to change depending on the age of my kids, because like when they were really, really young, we had a membership to the gym, and that was great because I had 2 hours that I could drop them off, and I did a fitness class. So I did one of those, classes where they tell you what to do and you pretend to follow along, and really you just look silly. And then I would take a shower and I would sit in the changing room for like 30 minutes after the class and just enjoy the quiet. And now that they're older and we actually have a lot of schoolwork, that doesn't work as well. So I've done exercise videos. I like swimming. I love to swim. I would live in the pool if I could. I love dance videos. Before we broke our Wii, I used the Wii Fit, and I would have a goal of doing 30 minutes on the Wii Fit. And the balance games probably don't really count as exercising, but they were a lot of fun. So I've done a little bit of everything except running. I always hurt my knees somehow when I'm running, so I don't tend to run as much, but I've done all sorts of things. And an exercise bike that we ended up getting rid of, but that was a short-term one.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned swimming because I actually hadn't thought about that, and that was why I like to get a variety of people here that do different things, because that way you can chime in with what you've done before, what's worked for you, and something that you may not have thought about. Like swimming wasn't on my list, and we have a pool membership, so yeah, that would work for us. All right, Christy, what about you?
Sorry, I was muted. I started getting active probably in college, and I actually was not active all the way through my childhood, and then I got on the crew team in college, and from there did a lot of running and stuff, and then I started having babies and wasn't sure how to integrate everything, and so there were a lot of times where I just didn't work out, and but I find that if you just keep going, I have tried everything, and I pretty much like any sort of working out except for road biking. That's not my favorite in any sense of the word, but running, anything with people. I take classes. I love taking classes. I can't usually afford them, So it puts me back to running. Walking is good, but running is faster and you burn more calories. So I always kind of find myself going back to running. Uh, and I think for me, just, yeah, I've bought 4 or 5 different exercise videos. I bought that, was by Beachbody, that one, Insanity. I did that for a while, I think. And then of course, I think we all go through cycles, and I'll get really gung-ho about something for a long time. And like Selena said, then you have a baby, or, some other life occurrence happens. And I think the biggest thing is that if I just don't get discouraged, and I just know that, in a couple months or maybe even a year, I'll get back into it, and I just do what I can, I usually come back to something, and it's usually running.
There's an old saying among runners that the faster you run, the faster you're done. I know that Christy knows that one for sure. So I had to laugh when she was talking about running versus walking, because that's my thought too. And I think she brought up a great point. It's important for us to remember as moms that we do go through cycles, and what worked for you before babies, or what worked for you when your kids were small or when they were teenagers, may not work now. Brett and I used to get up and go running early in the morning together while one of my children was home. Like, this is many children ago. So now I had actually mentioned to him the other day, like, about, here in Kentucky, if you don't run in the summer before 7, then you're not going to run until like 9, because it's too stinking hot. All my girls are in the South. They all know this because they're all nodding their heads. So humidity plays a part as far as working outside for us. But I don't know how we're going to do it with 5 kids. So I just know now, instead of getting discouraged and saying I'm just not going to run at all, it's just not going to work for us right now to do it together, because the kids are all small. Once they get a little bit bigger, we can run with them. Maybe I know the bigger ones we can run with for sure, and they probably would best me at any moment. But with the littles, you gotta wait a little bit longer for them. So just kind of find something that works for you. Just like I said, don't get discouraged. Christy's completely right. If you go at it like you're killing snakes, that's an old Southern term, then you're going to fizzle out. So I think any kind of exercise, small is great. You don't have to be like some of us and do a half marathon and all that jazz. But just something simple. Let me hear about some fitness things that have been flops for you all. I want to hear. I have one in particular that I tried, and I'm just going to give it up. I've given it up, but I want to hear from you all things that you've tried and that had just been a total disaster. Because I'm sure we have some flops among all of us. Christy's laughing.
I've always got flops. Do you want it now?
Oh.
I can't hear you. I can't.
We're having a little bit of technical issues. I had myself muted, so yeah, you go ahead and share your story.
Okay, sorry. Like I said, with 5 kids, I ended up, and my husband working a lot and gone early mornings, I end up just bringing the 5 kids with me. And when I was training for the half marathon, that meant we were on a bike trail. I had 3 boys from 5 to 10 on bikes and 2 little ones in a bike stroller. And I think we would run in a big group because we were training for a fundraiser for our church. And I'm sorry, if you can imagine that many kids, and then I had friends' kids, and then one day my son had 3 flat tires, and then I had a baby who was 6 months old, and he had a nurse in the middle. So I was like doing flat tires, and then I had to stop on the side of the bike trail and nurse the baby, and then it was just like the whole trip was crazy. In the end, I had to put the bike on top of the stroller, put my son those double joggers, how the wheel is in the middle. I had to put my son kind of like straddling the wheel, and then my 3-year-old kicked him out. So he fell out in the middle of the ride, and it was just like one thing after another. And luckily we were in a big group, and I had a friend who had older kids, and it was just hysterical. And by the end, the baby's screaming bloody murder. So we finished that run with, I was holding a baby, two older, the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old in the stroller, the bike on top of it, and the other kids. It was just crazy. And I actually had a blog post about it that has a picture of it all. But yeah, that was a challenging run right there.
I was sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, I hope somebody got a picture of this.
Oh yeah,
But I'm so glad.
I have, yeah.
Awesome. You'll have to share that link over the event room because I've got to see that. All right, Tisha has something that she's going to share too, a disaster story, I think.
I have several that mainly involve terrible dilemmas going to the gym or kids being bloody, but the big one I thought of is back when my boys were little bitty and they were like 15 months old, I had a friend and we were talking about exercising. I was complaining about not having a really good plan for it and stuff, and she said, oh, well, what I do is whenever my kids watch the Wiggles, I just do all of the motions with them, and it's a really good workout, and I get all of this stuff done. And I was like, that sounds like a good idea. We haven't watched the Wiggles yet, so I don't know a thing about them, but okay. And so I started recording it on the Disney Channel, and I put it on, and I started doing it, and I quickly discovered in about 15 minutes, I can't stand the Wiggles. I couldn't stand them. All the songs got stuck in my head, and they were horrible. It's been 7 years since I watched that stupid show, and the song still gets stuck in my head if I talk about the topic. So that would be my big flop. She swore by it. She's like, oh yeah, I get this great workout, and I really start sweating and stuff, and I was like, oh yes, this is awesome. It'd be so easy. No, it was horrible. It was horrible. Don't like the show. That was not me. So, so that's my big flop for exercising.
That goes back to my point about you have to find something that works for you, and it's not always going to be universal, I don't think. All right, Selena, how about you?
My biggest fitness flop has probably been, well, it's been a couple of things. For one thing, step. I don't like step. I've done step classes several times. I trip over the step box because you have to watch the instructor and you're going up and down and not looking, and no, it's not cute to be tripping in front of the class with everybody seeing you. Another flop for me is trying to work out with my children, kind of to come behind what Tisha was saying. It just doesn't work because you can't, you have to get your heart rate to a certain point and keep it there if you're really going to do something. And between stop, get off of him, don't do that, no, do it like this, come over here and show them how to do it, I can't consistently keep burning calories. So I have to work out first. And then if we're going to do PE or something like that, then I have to do it with them later in that day. I can't do it all together. It's too much.
We're all laughing and nodding our heads because I can't imagine. I cannot imagine myself in a step class. That's part of why I choose running, because it's simple. It's one foot in front of the other, and when you're on a treadmill, you can zone out and just go. Road running, you can zone out depending on where you are. Trail running, absolutely, you better not ever zone out because you will break a bone because you'll fall down the hill or step on a snake or something crazy. But I gave up tennis because I love tennis. I didn't take it up until I was a little older, like past 30. But I couldn't make it work. Like if my footwork was good, then my grip was bad. If my grip was good and I had good follow through, then my footwork was wanky. Or it was just like mentally to me, it was just like, I just want to just do this. I don't want to have to think about it. Like it was just like, it sounds crazy to say it was too mentally taxing, but that's exactly what it was, becoming a chore to have to constantly think, okay, am I set up right? Is my grip okay? My feet, my feet are pointing, da, da, da. So I was just like, okay, to heck with this. This is just, I'm done. I'm over this. I hate it. All right. Well, let's talk about, I know, so you did step class, Selena. Tennis is a little bit of a group setting. Talk about like group setting versus like a solo affair. Are you more of a group person or a solo fitness kind of person?
It depends on the workout. If it's a workout I'm comfortable with, then I have no problem with a group setting. Um, if it's a dance class I'm familiar with, then I'm okay. If I don't know the routine, like some Zumba instructors, you go to class and they have their regulars who already know all the steps that they do, and then you're kind of like trying to catch up and keep up, and it's a little bit too much. They're like, what we always do. I don't know. I just got here. So in those classes I'm uncomfortable. But if I know the routine, if I know the exercise, I'm okay to do it in a group. Sometimes I prefer to be by myself, especially if I'm stressed and I really need some quiet, some peace and quiet. Tisha was talking about the quiet at the gym. We did the same thing when our kids were younger, but now that they're older, you just can't do that. So I like to do it early in the morning when it's just me up and I have peace and quiet and time to myself.
Awesome. Christy, are you the same way? Do you kind of sit on the fence with that, kind of back and forth?
No, I love people. So if I can run with people or go to a class with people, I'm all about people. I will run by myself, and there's definitely times when it's just needed. But I would way rather do any of it with somebody. So I have a few different workout partners I run with during the week. And then I have actually, and this is a fun idea, I have a friend who does exercise classes at the park. So a bunch of moms come to the park, the kids all play, and we work out and kind of field each other's kids and it's really fun. But yeah, anything with people I love it. I can definitely do it by myself, but I'd way rather be with a person.
Oh, I
I don't
love
mind
that.
like an idiot.
Well, I love that idea about going to the park and doing it all together because that just sounds but like we talked about the challenges of doing all these exercises when you have children at home,
Yeah,
and they're always at home because you homeschool, so
right.
you don't get the break of dropping them off at school and then going to the gym. So that's a great idea. I tend to go back and forth. I'm sort of like Selena. I'm not a class person because once again, I feel like I'm uncoordinated. I would rather be in the back of the room and let me just watch this for a while because I'm gonna fall on my face. And then I have done group running before, and you'll probably be on the same page with me on this one. That's kind of a plus minus. If you got people who are marvelously better than you, then it can be discouraging because they finished long before you ever did, and they're waiting around for you to finish your 10-mile run, and they've been done for half hour. Woo! So if they're a whole lot better than you, that can be discouraging. If they're a little bit better, it can be encouraging because then you're kind of challenged to step it up a little bit. I've ran before with a girlfriend of mine that ran cross country. Didn't know that until we ran together. But it challenged me to go like, okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to push a little harder than I would have if I'd been by myself. And then if you're with someone that's not quite as not advanced, I don't know how to say that, but if somebody's slower than you run wise, and that can kind of it can make you a little uncomfortable because then you got to slow yourself down. So it's kind of you got to find once again somebody that kind of fits for you. And I think that let's see, we talked about next on my list is talking about like some trendy fitness kind of things. I know Christy mentioned Beachbody. We'll get to that in just a second. Selena has done Zumba. Like, have you done anything like CrossFit or my friends do CrossFit? Have you done anything else like something like that?
Me? Have I done the CrossFit? No. I'm like you said earlier, I'm afraid of CrossFit. I have seen people, and they're always in crazy good shape, and I think I could probably get in shape quickly if I did this, but then I think, like you just mentioned a few minutes ago, we have all these children, and we are always with them, and I don't have time to work myself to that extreme on Monday, and then Tuesday I got to stay in bed all day. I can't do that. So I need something that I can do enough that I can stick with it every day, and that's what kind of has frightened me away from CrossFit a little bit, those kind of intense workouts like that. I'm afraid about the recovery time.
That's a great point you brought up. I hadn't even thought about it. My thing was just like I'd just be embarrassed to be there and not be able to do anything. Like they like lift track around here. They lift like tractor tires and stuff. I don't know. This is kind of crazy and extreme. Christy, what about you? You trying to so tell me about Beachbody because I'm not. I've heard it like mentioned in circles, but I'm not familiar with it that much.
It's basically a kind of a big company that encompasses several different kind of, they focus on videos from my understanding, and one of them is this insanity workout, which I bought, and I bought it on eBay for $70 or something, and it's I think about 10 videos, 10 DVDs, and each they comes with like a schedule and of course a diet book, and of course you can buy their power shakes and their power this and their power that, or you can just do the DVDs, which is what I elected to do. But they have a schedule, a 60-day schedule that you're supposed to do, and you do so what was appealing is that you're not doing the same workout every single day. And so I got it, and I did it for probably 3 or 4 months, and it was really good. And then I got pregnant, and I haven't done it again. I would much rather be outside running, but when you have little kids and you need to get it done at 5 or 6 in the morning or at nap time or something, it was a really good fit. And I just ended up just choosing the DVDs I liked and then just did those. And then yeah, so I've done that, and then I've even gotten the Jillian Michaels 20-minute DVDs that I, just anything to get something so that I'm not busting at the seams. And the other one I've done is a newer one called Box Mania, and that's the one that my friend teaches at the park, and that's like a combination between kickboxing and other martial artsy things, and it's super fun, but you have to have an instructor for that. And what I liked about Beachbody is it's just DVDs, and you can buy, I think they do PX90 or PX90 it is, and they do that too. So anyway, that's what I've done, and mostly just because then I can do it at any time of the day whenever I need to do it.
Awesome. That's a good point. I'm listening to you girls talk about the DVDs, and I just feel strange doing DVDs. Like even though we're home, like I don't want my husband walking into the room and I'm, in some strange, weird yoga pose or something, or my kids walk up behind me and, do something childlike to embarrass me to death. But I don't know. I'm not a DVD person. Tisha, while you were away, we were talking about trendy things that we've tried, like Zumba and different things, Beachbody. Have you done anything like that? CrossFit or Pure Barre?
I don't think that I've done any of the super trendy ones. I've done some yoga and Pilates just as DVDs in my house, but at the gym that we were a part of, they always charged extra for any of the trendy classes. And I kind of felt like I was already paying enough to go to the gym that I didn't want to pay extra for that. So I don't think, no, that or the class time was always at the worst time ever for me, that it just wasn't going to happen. So I always wanted to. I always wanted to do Zumba. That just looks like so much fun. And the time for the Zumba class at our local gym was horrible. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was never going to happen for me for what time it was at. So, not really.
All right. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up, and what I want my panelists to share, since we're all homeschool moms and we all have multiple children, and I think most of the folks that are watching are in the same boat. Oh, before I get started, Marlene, we don't have any questions or comments to answer from the event room. Is that correct?
No questions in the event room.
All right, awesome. I want to make sure we handle that too. I want my panelists to just share your best advice for homeschool mom who is trying to build fitness into her day. Okay, so we're gonna tackle this from each of our unique perspectives. I'm gonna start with you, Christy.
I think for me, I think I pretty much already said it. Just be patient with yourself and really brainstorm. I know that this is unusual, we live by the coast, and some moms are doing paddle boarding, or, my husband surfs and he's trying to get me into surfing. I can't do that. But really brainstorm, mountain bike, or, just really think about all the opportunities in your area, and even the DVDs, just whatever you think you can fit into your day. And then another thing, my husband and I switch off time. I said he likes to surf, so Saturday mornings, every Saturday morning I'm on with the kids from the crack of dawn, and he goes surfing for several hours, and he comes back and he's so much better. He feels good. And then Thursday mornings, before our day gets going, I go for my run. And if we're really on the ball that week, we can switch other times too. But for sure, he knows he gets Saturday mornings and I get Thursday mornings. So if your husband can't watch the kids for you all week long, maybe you can supplement with a couple of DVDs, and then supplement, a couple runs or whatever you find that you like to do. If you have a friend that likes to play tennis, you could go to the tennis courts and bring your kids and have them all set up on the side doing stuff. So just really try to think out of the box, be patient with yourself, because our schedules ebb and flow with school, and keep trying new stuff. That's probably what I would say.
Awesome. We're all jealous now that you live on the coast too, by the way. I thought you were a Southern girl. That's awesome. All right, Selena, let's hear from you. I want your best advice.
My best advice is to be adaptable. I'm not a morning person. I would much rather stay up late, but that does not work for our family. If I'm going to work out, I've got to do it at 5 in the morning or it's not going to get done. And that has been a very difficult journey to try to make myself into the kind of person who will get up and work out at 5 in the morning. But eventually I just found out if I don't do it at 5, it's not happening that day. So, and I switch up, like Christy was just saying, I switch up. I might do Zumba one morning, and I do use the Wii because we don't have the money for the gym anymore. And yeah, so I use the Zumba Wii, and then I do body weight exercises with my music to kind of keep me from getting too bored. And Nike has a great cross-training app that's free. And I do that sometimes too. It syncs with your music player on your phone, so that's pretty easy. But I'm almost always doing it at 5 in the morning so that I can get it done that day. And then I try to keep moving through the day so that it's not just I'm working out in the morning and that's it. I try not to sit down for too long at home. I try to stay up and moving with the children, keep them up and moving. We take little exercise breaks every couple of hours during class. So I think it's important that we not just make time for our fitness, but then we kind of make it part of our daily life. That's a great routine to show the children so they pick up on that habit too.
Excellent. I love all those tips. Just as a quick note to people that are going to be following with the series, we're going to talk later. She mentioned Nike and their apps, which I happen to be a big fan of too. We're going to talk later about tools that we use, apps and fitness trackers and whatnot. That's going to be in a later hangout, so just kind of keep your eyes peeled for that too. All right, Tisha, how about you? This is what your advice is for homeschool moms trying to stay fit.
Well, Selena kind of said what I was going to say of be flexible. I will never, ever be up at 5 willingly to exercise. I don't get up at 5 unwillingly unless there's something horrible going on. So that doesn't work for me. So it's been finding different times, and sometimes it's as silly as while the kids are reading, I'm sitting there on a balance ball and wiggling and doing sit-ups and other ridiculous things that if anyone were to watch our homeschool would just think we were crazy, and we are. But just know that what works for you with a 2-year-old may not work with you when you have a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old, and the time that works when your kids are 2 does not work for you later on. So just realize it could change. So right now, one of the things when it's cooler and it's not 95 like it is today, there's a park nearby that has a track. And so the kids play on the playground, and I just walk laps on the track while I listen to my podcasts and various music and whatever. And the weather's changed, so now I swim laps in the pool. So just be open to the fact that it's not going to stay the same. You're not going to find the perfect routine and have it for the next 20 years of your life. It just doesn't happen that way.
All right. Thanks so much. I am thrilled to have these ladies here with me today because, as always, I love chit-chatting with them across the miles, across the country, and learning so much from them. I want to encourage you to follow all of these girls on Google+. You can circle IHN and then circle each of the individual panelists because they've got great homeschooling things to share there. This time does not work for you. We'll be here each and every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, noon Mountain Time, and 11 a.m. on the Pacific Coast. But you can also watch us at your convenience via YouTube. So if you subscribe to iHomeschool Network's YouTube channel, you can be alerted of new events there. And then also if you follow us on Google+. We've got some great topics coming up all summer long, June, July, and the early part of August. Like we said, we're talking about some sugar detoxing, getting your kids involved, eating healthy with your children, financial ways to eat healthy or kind of on a budget. We'll leave it at that. But all kinds of great topics coming up, and I'm so excited to hear from all of these girls later on and from you guys in the panel room. All right. Thanks so much for joining us today. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.